not responsible for any content, information, or opinions expressed. User bears full responsibility for their reliance on such content, information, or opinions.
Hello, I'm Earl Stewart. I welcome you to Earl Stewart on Cars, a live talk show all about how to buy, lease, maintain, or repair your car without being ripped off by a car dealer. With me in the studio is Nancy Stewart, my wife, co-host, and a strong consumer advocate, especially for our female listeners. We also have Rick Kearney, an expert on how to keep your car running right. I dare you to ask a question that Rick can't answer about the mechanics or electronics of your car. Also with us is my son, Stu Stewart. Our link to cyberspace through Facebook, YouTube, text messaging, and our encrypted anonymous feedback service. Stu is also the Spymaster Director of our Mystery Shopping Report. He dispatches our secret shopper weekly to an unsuspecting car dealership. And now, on with the show. Good morning, everybody. Well, this is Earl Stewart Live, and I'm honored to be here last show of the year, 2025. And Nancy Stewart and myself, we've been through, I say, between 20 and 25 last show of the year over the past 20 to 25 years. And believe it or not, we have some listeners that have been with us that long. We have a whole lot more listeners, and it's something we love doing. I can tell you right now, I didn't get much sleep last night, and neither did Nancy. And it would have been easy to pick up the phone and say, run a rerun. But we love the show. But with that said, either one of us might doze off. And Rick Kearney, I asked Rick to punch me if I start snoring too loud. But we'll see. We'll see how an old guy... how alert an old guy can be when he's sleepy. And I've already feel the adrenaline pumping, so I think I'm going to be okay. We're talking end of the year, and it's more than just Happy New Year, like everybody says. I mean, nothing wrong with that. It's festive. It's fun. But there's something special that I'm going to be talking about later after Nancy's picks up the mic and makes... her presentation, but it's a very special time of the year for you as a car buyer. There's something that you can do today that you can't do. When I say today, I mean through the end of the year, close to the end of the year. You've only got, I'm going to say, about a week, and if you do something during the next week, you're going to love me for it. Because it is a lot of people talk about it, but they don't really believe it's true. I'll get into that later. I'm also going to remind you that to reach the show, and all of us in the show, Nancy and Rick and I, we love to talk. I guess that's why we're on a talk show. We like to talk, but practically speaking, we'd rather hear you talk. And that's the reason you'll hopefully hear this number quite frequently over the next 2 hours. That's between 10 a.m. Eastern Time, between 8 a.m. Eastern Time and 10 a.m. So we'll be on the air for 2 hours. And if you call us at this number, 877-960-9960. And the reason I speak so slowly is not because I'm dozing off, but it gives you time to write this down. So if you missed it the first time, please write this number down. 877-960-9960. And if you can't watch the whole show right now or listen to the whole show right now, I know you probably can. It's 2 hours. Who's going to sit there staring at YouTube or listening to your radio for 2 hours? Ain't going to happen. Well, Rick raised his hand. Yeah, we're all doing that in here. But call us when you have time at 877-960-9960. Nancy Stewart, my co-host, my bride, and the female advocate.
She's not here.
No, she's not here.
She's not here. She didn't arrive yet.
The female advocate to beat all female advocates. Nancy Stewart is sitting across from me, and she has a very special offer for our lady listeners. If you're listening to the show and you are female and you call the show, she's got a really good surprise for you. And I have a surprise that I'm going to tell you about right now, and then I'm going to turn the mic over to Nancy. And this is not a surprise if you listened last week, but if you haven't, attention, auto manufacturers of the world. Attention, auto dealers of the world. Do you like money? Well, don't answer that. We all know. We all like money. $1,000, only one string attached. If you call Earl Stewart on Cars sometime between now and 10 a.m. Eastern Time, and that number is 877-960-9960. 877-960-9960, and you are a manager with any automobile dealership, or you're a manager with any auto manufacturer, and we're going to have to check and verify your credentials. But if you are, I'm going to give you a check for $1,000 to your favorite charity. And you can be your favorite charity if you want to be. My favorite charity is Big Dog Ranch Rescue, but I digress. That's not important. $1,000 to you or your favorite charity if you're a manager in an auto dealership or an auto manufacturing company anywhere in the world. Now, here's the kicker. This is good. I will not embarrass you. I will not hang up on you. I will listen to your side of the story, which I know is different than my side of the story. And I will not reveal your identity of yourself or your company on the air. I need to get your identity and where I can send the $1,000. But I need to verify that you're not some crank just trying to take $1,000 from me or the charity that should get it. So $1,000 if you're a manager of a car dealership or an automobile dealer or an auto manufacturer to you. That's my surprise that came early. Now, I'm going to turn the microphone over to Nancy Stewart, and she has a whole lot of stuff to tell you, plus a very important message for our female callers.
Good morning, everyone. First, I have to say, after 40 years, I'm still your bride.
Yeah.
Woo. Okay, ladies.
Yes, you are.
Here we are. We're honoring you and your presence. Amazon gift card. An Amazon gift card. $50 for the first 2 new lady callers. Also,
the cool thing about that, excuse me for interrupting, the cool thing about that is you get the gift card immediately. As soon as you give our producer your contact information off the air, we're not going to ask you to give it on the air, but give it to our producer after you call, you will look at your iPhone or your Android device, and pop-up will be a $50 Amazon gift certificate. So instant $50.
yes, that's correct. There was a very large person sitting over here. I'm going to need stilts.
Rick, can you adjust the microphone? She got
Maybe
it.
I'll just
She
back
got
up.
it, yeah.
I'll just back up. Okay, we have a whole lot to get to. We're going to discuss or go over with the mystery shopping report, and that is at Ed Moore's Honda. So stay tuned for that. Just about 9:30. Also, ladies, let me repeat again that you can win yourself a $50 Amazon gift card. First 2 new lady callers, and you know, this is so telling, so interesting. Here we are in the 21st century, and I think everybody by now knows how old I am. But here I am repeating information, history that went on in the 40s and 50s, and women they don't want much. But they just want to be respected. They want to be talked to, eye to eye, not down to, and it makes a huge difference. And it helps to build your reputation as a car salesman. You get it. Everybody gets it. Okay. Did you know that women would prefer to purchase a vehicle from a woman? And there's not a whole lot of women in this industry. Earl and I were talking this morning about a district manager that has retired. I believe it was 3 years ago.
Yes.
And what a great woman she was. And as I said, she did retire. But in 50 years, Erin was the only female district
manager at Earl Stewart Toyota.
Thank you.
Yeah, we just had our 50-year anniversary celebration in November, and I got to thinking about it. And all those years, we must have had 25 managers that are liaison between the dealer and the manufacturer. And in those 50 years, we had 25 men and 1 woman, Erin. And I'm not just saying this. I'm just saying she was one of the best we ever had. And we still are friends on Facebook, and I still hear from her. And she's enjoying life, lives in Tampa now, and she's enjoying life like she should. But can you believe that?
Yeah, and the climate that she worked in, it never swayed her. She stood true to what she did, her beliefs, and we miss her. Also, let's see, I'll give you the number 877-960-9960, and you can also text us at 772-497-6530. Don't forget your anonymous feedback. You can take advantage of that, youranonymousfeedback.com. And I mentioned in the last, I think, 3 shows about the haggling in car dealerships, and it became a modern thing. And it doesn't hold any weight today. It really doesn't, because it's a reflection of the marketplace thousands of years ago. Everything was negotiated for, and the rugs, spices, livestock. Again, I'll reiterate, this is the 21st century. So, ladies, I'd love to hear from you this morning, and you are the smartest car buyers. And you are, well, in this industry, I'm going to tell you what, I would think that a car dealer to ignore you is a financial disaster. 877-960-9960. And you can text us at 772-497-6530. Also remember anonymousfeedback.com. We have a caller, but Donna's calling us from Fort Lauderdale. Welcome, Donna.
Hello, Donna.
Welcome, Donna.
We're having a little...
Donna, if you can hear me, can you give us a call back? Okay, I'll turn it over to Earl.
I want to remind everybody, I missed it in my introduction. You regulars know this very well, especially on YouTube.com, but Rick Kearney is a certified diagnostic master technician, and that puts him at the top of his profession worldwide. Very few people hold that achievement. I mean, I was going to say, you got to go to school for that, but I didn't tell you he's got to go to school every month. It's one of these, I digress. Try to follow me now. When I was younger, I used to love to, when I had to go to the doctor, I always felt better if it was an old doctor. Now as I get older, I feel better if it's a young doctor. Why? Because he's on top of the science. He's on top of his technology. If you go to an old mechanic today, and he hasn't stayed up with the technology, God help you. So Rick combines the best of all worlds. He's an old mechanic that can tell you what a carburetor or coil is, but he can also tell you about the software in a hybrid or an electronic vehicle or an autonomous vehicle. Rick?
Did you see the chaos that occurred last Saturday night in San Francisco, though?
Oh, with the
massive citywide blackout.
Yeah.
And all the Waymo taxis, the automated taxis, were confused by no traffic lights, and they all just kind of stopped and stared at each other. Oh,
well,
amazing.
That's what you're supposed to do without a traffic light, right?
I guess they just didn't. Somebody didn't get it through. Think ahead on that one.
They obey the law. But anyway,
yeah.
We devote too much time on this show to exciting stuff. You do it when you're with friends. You talk about what's interesting, exciting, new, and you forget that that's okay for you and your friends, but you get a lot of people that have other interests, and we know, statistically, that most of the people listening to Earl Stewart on Cars, their problems with cars aren't so much buying a car or leasing a car, because you only do that once every 4, 5, 6, 7 years. Did you know that you can now finance a car for 10 years? Yeah, 10 years. Good God. You got to be young to make all the payments. But you repair your car, unfortunately, far more frequently. If you have an older car, you're probably in the repair shop for maintenance or repair once or twice a year, maybe 3 times a year. But buying a car, you're not going to think about it for years and years. So, with deference to you who have questions out there on mechanics, you got a squeak or a rattle or a roll, you don't know what it is. It might be serious. You might be looking at thousands of dollars in repairs, or it might be nothing. So you want to get advice? Call Rick Kearney at 877-960-9960. 877-960-9960 and say, hey, Rick, my remote key doesn't work, or I lost my remote key, and some crazy son of a gun wants to charge me $400 for a remote. What should I do? Or I smell something funny when I'm driving my car. I think it's coming from under the hood, or whatever. You know what I'm going to talk about. Your radio, your tires, vibrations, smells. Describe it to Rick, and you'll get a free diagnosis. That's the name of the game. Free. He won't charge you a nickel. You know what's going to cost you if you take it into a repair shop, independent or dealer? You're talking probably $100 if you're lucky. If you're not lucky, whoa, a lot of money. Call Rick, 877-960-9960. That's 877-960-9960.
I do have to say, in this industry, Rick's abilities, his expertise as a mechanic in the Gallup poll, he rates very high. Unlike the salespeople, the dealers, it's very telling whenever you take a look at this information. Anyway, the number here is 877-960-9960. You can also text us at 772-497-6530. We're going to go to Marty. And Donna, if you're listening, I hope you call back. Marty's a regular caller, and he's from West Palm Beach. Good morning, Marty.
Good morning. How are you?
Good.
Great.
The radio station had music on it while I was on hold, so I don't know, there's probably some...
Is that abnormal? Is that what you hear every time you call?
No, usually when you call, you get, you're just talking.
Yeah, we got a new guy in the control room, I think, today, do we? Yeah.
Okay, so I think right now I'm not hearing the music, so right now it's working okay, I guess.
Great. Thanks for telling us.
Okay, Okay, is Rick there? I have to ask him a question.
Right here.
He's ready for you.
Okay. I got a notice from Toyota that I might, or they're going to replace the HV floor underwire connector, that there's a possibility that it's defective. Is that a big job?
It can be. So I would definitely make sure you schedule some time, that you'll be able to drop the car with the dealer for taking it in. But that's something that I would do just as quickly as you can.
Tell us why.
Just because safety concerns like that, especially anything that has to do with electrical connectors, minor case syndrome, the car might suddenly start acting a little odd and actually shut itself down.
Oh, okay.
Worst case scenario, you could wind up with a fire. So
this is a safety recall.
For safety recall, I would get in to have that done as soon as possible.
And if that can't be done as soon as possible, then I bet you're going to tell Marty to say you want a free loaner car because I fear for my life.
Exactly. Anytime you have a safety recall and the dealer says, well, we don't really have parts available for it right now, you use those simple words, I don't really feel safe driving this car. Can you please get me a loaner car? That the manufacturer, not the dealer, but the manufacturer pays for that rental car for the entire time that you need it until your car is finished and ready to go.
Okay, now this recall on here it says certain, like in my car, it's a certain 23, 24 model year Crowns. Can they tell by the VIN, or is this got to be replaced for everyone?
I need to research on that one, but usually they'll run it by the VIN. But that VIN range that covers cars, not all the cars may actually have that problem, but they're still what they're gonna do is if they know that there were, say, 1,000 cars that had that component that they suspect might be problematic, they're actually going to get 1,000 cars before it and 1,000 cars after it and replace all of those just to make sure that they got a big safety buffer on either side so they can keep that safety factor down.
Rick, you know better than I, but I would have guessed that with the VIN, they would know the plant that manufactured that vehicle. They would also know the parts that they purchased to build that vehicle from Toyota's got a lot of plants that build Crowns, I would assume, all over the world, and a lot of them in Japan, I guess, maybe all of them. And so therefore, I suspect with a VIN, they would probably be pretty sure that your car requires it.
Oh, yeah. And some of it is, sometimes it's just an inspection. Now, looking this one up, this is actually for, it's a wiring issue for the airbags, where seat movement can actually damage the wiring. So what they're going to do is actually put a special protective covering in there. So, yeah, this is something that should be able to be done like within a couple hours.
Okay, now, they put on this letter, this is for RAV4s, Highlanders, Benzes, and Crowns.
Yep. And it also includes quite a few Lexus models. And as a matter of fact, Kia also has a recall for a similar type situation, but it may not be the same supplier of that particular wiring connector.
Okay. Now, in your shop, do you know if you have the parts?
That I couldn't tell you.
That's a good question to ask when you call up and ask if they have the part, if you like driving your car, because the part oftentimes is a big holdup, and sometimes the service advisors aren't staying in touch with the parts department, and so you should say, I want you to say you have the part, put my name on it, and I'll see you on Friday.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, well, I was going to do it next month, because that's my 24 months, so I was just going to come in for the oil change and tire rotation. You know, the 24-month deal.
Yep. You should be okay with that.
Yeah. You know something, in the letter, believe it or not, the big thing it says is your AM radio might not work. It doesn't say what you just said.
That's interesting. I guess I'm going to have to take a look. If you wouldn't mind texting me a copy of that letter, that's just stupid because you're hiding something serious from the customer. But to say that, not identify this as a serious safety recall and say your radio might not work, that's deception. And I would love to see that letter.
Also, I'll just tell you, this says this is a limited service campaign. This does not say anything about safety.
Oh, boy. Well, Rick is usually typing over there, so he may be doing some research.
And whatever's easiest for you, Marty, sending me the information or sending Earl the information. I'm not sure what you have in your contacts.
Yeah, the best way to handle that, call the dealership and give them your VIN number and ask them specifically which ones apply to your car.
Right.
Because Toyota comes out with so many different recalls so often, it's hard for me to even keep track of them anymore. And I'm starting to get up there in age, and this is the reason I write everything down and make lists for everything I have to do during the day sometimes. But right now the best way to do that is have them run your VIN, and then they can tell you specifically which recalls might affect your vehicle and what the parts availability is, and set up an appointment for you.
Yeah. All right. Let me check that out. I'm not too concerned. On the phone, where you can put down Toyota on the Toyota app, the app says it can affect AM radio. So I don't want to
and that may be.
You're right.
I don't use AM anyway.
Don't forget to text me that, Marty, okay?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll send the letter.
Okay. Thank you very
Marty.
much for the call.
Happy New
Happy
Year.
New Year.
877-960-9960. We can't get enough calls. You are the lifeblood, the voice on the telephone. And that's the reason Nancy will prioritize your call when it comes in. Because, the texts are okay. I'm not shooting down the YouTubers or the Facebookers, but they're almost as good. But I like the voice. I heard Marty's voice. He heard our voice. It just seems more human.
Human contact is still very important today. And as I say every week, all of you make the show. 877-960-9960. Or you can text us at 772-497-6530. Take advantage of youranonymousfeedback.com. Back to recalls. Last week we didn't get a chance to mention or talk about what you and I talked about, and it was the airbags that were not getting fixed. And do you recall that article? 22%.
Recalls, they would recall the people would bring in for an airbag, but what was that percentage?
22%. That's 2.6 million.
Yeah. Only 22% have not been have come in for the repair.
Exactly. It's just startling. That's
scary.
all.
Very scary.
We've talked about this issue over and over again about airbags, and you remember our listeners remember us talking in depth about airbags.
Takata, I must have said Takata a million times.
Hey, for sure, definitely. Rick, do you recall the article on the airbags?
I don't specifically right now.
No, this here is part of it. And if you want to comment about it, about them not getting fixed. And there was a gentleman, he was only 22 years old, and he died in a car accident. He was driving a Toyota Corolla, and a truck, I believe a truck hit him.
Yeah, it says, it says he ran into the back of a Ram pickup.
Oh, it was a Ram
And-
pickup that
yeah,
he ran into?
He ran into it, and his airbag did not deploy, which,
And wasn't...
yeah, due to a recall from 2020 that he didn't get done.
Exactly.
And that's why one of the things that we have pushed for so much here is to try to get people to go to that NHTSA site, the government site, and check your VIN to see if your car has any open safety recalls. Because sometimes if you buy a car used and you don't go to a dealership ever for maintenance or anything, you might never know
Give
that
them
there's an open recall.
Give them that URL, will you, that web address?
Yeah, it's let me double check and make sure the actual official one, because there is the one that we have called ismycarrecalled.com.
Okay.
And safercar.gov.
Yeah, safercar.gov
is the best one to go to.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons, because if we can't remember the website, you're probably not going to remember the website. But Rick is absolutely right. You need to check, because the manufacturers don't do a good job of notifying you of safety recalls, especially when you bought it used from a different dealer. And let's face it, Americans are a little, I hate to say this, but I'll rephrase that. People are a little lazy sometimes. You got a nice car, you're driving it, feels good, runs good, and then you get something in the mail. Half the people don't read the mail. I don't read mail anymore. I throw most of it away.
I read it for you.
I'm an online person, so you don't get the notification, and you drive it. Only 25% of all recalled cars are fixed. Only 25%, and then the number on airbags is only 22%. You think it'd be the other way around, but it's a scary thing. Okay, we've covered the airbags really
Okay.
well.
Ladies, $50 Amazon gift card for the first two new ladies that give us a call this morning, 877-960-9960. And Earl has that $1,000 gift.
If you're
To any-
if you're the auto industry and you're a manager, retail or wholesale, I don't care if you work for Honda or Chrysler. If you're a manager, I don't care who you work for. Toyota. Hey, I'm a Toyota dealer. Well, I kind of know why you're not calling me, but that's okay. I know you're listening. I know you're listening. So you don't want to call me. I got it. But hey, I've been a thorn in your side for 50 years, right? You're waiting for them to cart me out feet first. That's the only way you're going to get rid of me. And at 85 years old, that'll probably happen. And but anyway, the manufacturers and the dealers can make $1,000 for themselves or charity by calling the show. We'll document it, and you can ask me anything. I won't abuse you, insult you. I will give you as much time as you like to state your case about Earl Stewart on Cars. Do you think I'm saying the right stuff or the wrong stuff? We'll listen to you. Courtesy and respect, I promise you. And I promise you not to reveal your identity on the air. I will do that to verify that you're not ripping me off. After the show, off the air, we'll verify your identity. And if you are, who you say you are, $1,000 to your favorite charity, which can be you. So you can pocket the $1,000, or you can give it to the Heart Association, Cancer Association, Big Dog Ranch Rescue, anybody you want to. $1,000, no strings attached. I can't believe I did this last week for 2 hours, and nobody called. Hey, what's going on?
And then you changed it up, you and Rick, as far as being anonymous.
Exactly, yeah.
To encourage them. And you were going to say?
No, I've got another topic. I was going to change the subject,
Okay.
but go ahead.
As long as, and I don't think I know that you have a breath in your body, air. That thorn you talk about, I don't agree with you. In kind of away, but you're the best thing that happened to this industry.
Oh, you're just saying that.
So
'cause
step
you
up to
love
the
me.
plate, buddy boy.
When I was gonna,
Excuse me, before you go to your next topic, we're going to go to Barry.
oh, great.
Good morning, Barry.
Good morning,
Good
and
morning.
best wishes for the coming year.
Pardon me?
Last week, I said best wishes for the coming year.
Oh, thank you.
thank
Happy
you very
New Year
much.
to you from all of us.
Thanks. On last week's show, there was a discussion about the Florida law that took effect on October 1st against obscuring license plates. It seems that reporters and even the police can't get the story straight about what's a legal license plate frame and what crosses the line. Some of them say no text can be blocked, while others, some of the more recent voices, state that as long as the main tag number, the registration sticker, and the identity of the state show clearly, you're okay. But to be on the safe side, I removed my frame. Hopefully the confusion will be resolved in the coming weeks. And that brings me to my question today, which is about on-car dealer advertising. Some dealers seem to have no qualms about adding an advertising junk fee to a car deal, but at the same time, they affix their emblems, decals, and license plate frames for some free publicity. My question is whether or not they have to remove this stuff if the buyer requests it. Personally, I to avoid it, but is there any sort of regulation that applies here? And what's the policy at your dealership?
Are you talking about the frame that goes around the license plate? You know, I wouldn't be surprised. That's a very good question. I don't know for sure, but I think the answer is that the frame cannot conceal anything on the license plate. I think the license plate has to be completely visible to the police and everybody else when it's on the car. And if you've got something that says Earl Stewart Toyota that covers up even something like the Sunshine State, I think technically that shouldn't be a problem. But I think legally, and this is my opinion, I'll try to check that out for you. I agree with you. Oftentimes these laws are, everybody's got a different story. Of course, there's always the case where there's a law and there's how is the law enforced. Police have got too many things to worry about. If they were to literally interpret the license plate law and somebody had a smudge on their license plate and they pulled you over on I-95, that wouldn't be a smart thing to do. So the law enforcement is usually on what really would affect them. And what would affect them is, hey, this guy might be a wanted criminal, or this guy is definitely breaking the law. Can I identify him from what I can see on his license plate? And if the answer is no, I can't identify him, then they're definitely going to give you a ticket for having it concealed. But technically, I think you can't conceal anything on a license plate.
Yeah, Rick had a lot to say about this last week.
Well, one thing that I noticed was the Florida Sheriff's Association, which is like a charitable organization that lots of people send money into.
So they won't be pulled over.
Exactly. One of the ways that they will try to help, show their appreciation for your donation is they send you a license plate ring. Mm-hmm. And they actually, I saw a video, I forget what sheriff it was. I believe it was a sheriff from Brevard County who was stating that no, because it does not actually cover where it says the myflorida.com and the Sunshine State, they said that one is technically okay. But again, this is such a gray area that all across the state, people are not really sure what's going on. But remember, the big difference that they made with this law, it actually is changing an old law that still said the same thing, but they added it to become a misdemeanor offense that you can actually be arrested for, not just given a ticket, but if they want to, they can arrest you just for that violation.
Yes.
So I would err on the side of caution. I took the license plate ring off of my own vehicle just to be safe. And like you were saying, callers, the idea that companies are putting on like these other stickers and badges on your car to advertise their dealership, if you ask them to remove it, they should happily go ahead and remove it, because otherwise you could walk away from the sale. Just tell them, no, I'm not buying a car with that on there. Get that off of there. They should be very happy to remove
I
that
just
for
got
you.
this from CBS News. Portions of Florida Statute 320.262, license plate obscuring device prohibited penalties, states covering obscuring or otherwise interfering with legibility, angular visibility, or detectability of primary features or details, including the license plate number or validation sticker on the license plate, and interfering with the ability to record the primary features or details, including the license plate number or validation sticker on the license plate, are prohibited. So that's all the cops need. They don't need to see the Sunshine State, and so you're okay to cover up the Sunshine State.
Now, there was one person, and Donovan's even chimed in to say that people have been arrested for this. There was one gentleman that I believe was Broward County. He was arrested and taken to jail because there was a ring around the license plate, not on his personal car. He was driving a rental car that he had gotten like from Hertz or Avis or something, and he was arrested for that.
Yeah, Donovan,
Well,
thanks for that. We talked about that last
Yeah.
week,
Yeah.
and Donovan brought that to our attention.
Yeah.
What an important part of the show Donovan is.
He's awesome. But
Yeah.
I'm just amazed
Remember,
at.
we're one of 50 states, and we're broadcasting to all 50, and I
Yeah.
think we've pretty much covered the Florida law.
Yeah.
Okay, who's
Yeah, I
next?
think.
Barry?
Hey, Barry.
Yeah, so I just, back on the other forms of dealer advertising, if they've already put it on there, my worry would be, would it leave a hole or something? Do they drill anything, or is it usually just affixed with some kind of glue, or
No,
how do they normally?
most of those are just either a vinyl sticker or a plastic emblem that's put on with double stick tape. And if you want to do it yourself, a piece of dental floss, actually, slide right in behind it and just work it back and forth till it cuts through that double-sided tape, and then some silicone remover cleaner and a little bit of wax, and it's gone.
You're talking about the dealers.
Right, if they
stick
put
on
like
them.
a plastic badge on there advertising their dealership.
Hey, Barry, can I tell you one of my old-time stories? Because old guys like to tell stories. So there's a Toyota dealer in Miami. He's no longer there, but it's Kendall Toyota still there. And Jerry Bean was the dealer. And he was the largest dealer at that time, and they still are, very large Toyota dealer. And every dealer I know in all 50 states, and I know them, I know car dealers all over the United States, every one of them either has a decal or a license plate bracket with his name on there. We dealers have got an ego bigger than the universe, and we got to have our name out there all the time. But Jerry Bean at Kendall Toyota never put his name on the car. So I asked him one day why he didn't do that. He says, I save a lot of money because every car I see without a license plate frame, I know I sold it. You got to laugh at that. You got to laugh at an old guy's joke. So anyway, thank you.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thanks, Barry.
Thanks, Barry. That is a name from the past. I mean, so far in the past. I can't believe that you remembered Jerry Bean.
Oh, yeah.
What a time it was. Wow. What a wild and crazy life we have had since then, or before then. I can't remember. Okay, we're going to go to Frank, and Frank is a regular caller. He calls us from Jupiter Farms. Good morning, Frank.
Yo, Frank. Hey, you chit-chatting with Anne Marie? Are you still there?
Oh, sorry about that.
No problem.
Earl.
Yeah.
No, I was chit-chatting with Mike, reminiscing some stories of how we first met about 20 years ago in the radio station when I threatened to take you off the air with my Marshall badge, my purple badge. And I said, that's how we introduced each other. So
Those
they
were
still
the
talk
days,
to me.
right?
Oh, they
They
truly
didn't
were.
try to take me off. They fired me.
Boy, that was
my God.
quite a time back then, Frank.
Yeah.
Quite a time.
Well, I've been doing car shopping the last month, I feel like your mystery shopper 10 times over. I have been to so many dealers because I had this urge to get a fun car because of lack of any communications from all my children on my birthday back on November 14th. And I have been car dealer after car dealer after car dealer, and I think we're just going to postpone everything and relax. It is such a world of shadiness out there that's unbelievable. So
my recommendation is a company called Traxxas. They make these 1/10 scale remote control cars, and if you bash it against a tree, you won't be too bothered.
Oh, I like that. Actually, you know what I saw? I meant to send this to you. I'll send it after we hang up. I saw this really cool looking car at the car wash the other day, a gray car, but it had a big tail fin on it. And I said, boy, that car looks familiar. And it's a Toyota. I'm going, what kind of Toyota? You know, they're the people that get in their car wash. We all walked over to walk around it.
Ah.
Texas plates. It was, of course, now I can't think of it. It's one of your, the little two-seat sports car you make.
The Toyota Supra?
Yeah,
The older Supra, the Mark IV?
It must have been because it had a daggum fin on the back that looked like
they
a
didn't build
steering
many of those.
wheel.
That's it's kind of like an image car. They're overpriced, and but they look cool. And all the manufacturers come up with what they call an image car, and crazy people pay thousands of dollars over sticker price so they can park it in their driveway and say, "I've got that car and you don't." That's the image car.
Yeah.
Hey,
Anne Marie was a banker for years and years, and one of her financial advisors has two cars, and he bought really fancy cars, but he says you wait 2 years, they take such a beating the first 2 years on prices. One's a Maserati and the other's a Mercedes LX55 supercharged V8, but it's amazing how much they drop in price the first 2 years. So anyway,
Hey, Frank,
we're ready to go back to Lexus, but I'll be quiet. Okay.
Donovan says for the caller, just go buy a Porsche Boxster and it'll all be okay.
Yeah, the one thing I flew supersonic jets in the Air Force at one point in my career. So when you push that throttle and light the afterburner, then you get kicked back. We did. I mean, that's what I'm missing. And so actually, I was in a M4 BMW, and when you set floor that thing down, it was one of those competition models, and you go, and your neck is being slapped around. And what made me realize that I'm past my prime
Frank,
is when they let me back in.
Doesn't it make you feel bad to know that Nancy and I can blow your ass away in a Tesla?
I'm so glad you said that. I was going to say that.
We can leave you in the dust with our Teslas.
I'm harassed by Porsche drivers and BMW drivers. And guess who wins?
You.
I'm in the Mad Max mode.
Yeah, I maybe I do need to go try that, but it's silent. I like the noise and obviously, but anyway,
I get you a tape recorder, and you can turn that on real loud, and then hit that accelerator, and you probably won't want to drive a Tesla because it's so fast that if you really use the high speed acceleration mode, it will scare you. It scares me and Nancy. We don't do it anymore. I used to play with it when I first got my Tesla because I love getting Corvettes and BMWs and and any car that really looked fast. I love to just shock the hell out of them. And after a few of those, I realized that when I pushed down on that accelerator, I didn't know where I was and how far I'd gone. And you don't want to feel like that when you're driving a car. But I mean, when you go 0 to 60 in 1.7 seconds, that's faster than the mind can realize. So.
Yeah, it's like being on an aircraft carrier and getting a catapult.
Exactly.
Shoot.
Exactly.
That describes it. And Frank, at this point in time in my life, driving the Plaid, I still get harassed. But guess what I do? Nothing. Because if you don't know what the Plaid does, then you've been living under a rock. So I'm not going to be on the road, trying to, prove what the Tesla Plaid does.
Yeah, well, I had about a half dozen nice test drives, especially around Okeechobee. I can't believe you hear these cars going up and down. Wow, wow. I go, where are the police? The salesman said, no, they leave us alone because you're trying to, buy a car. But I go,
it's crazy down there.
It really is. Anyway, you all have a great Happy New Year. I'm glad you're back on the air. Thank you for everything, and we'll talk to you next year.
And just as a little sidebar, Earl and I are going to be in Sunset Key for New Year's, kicking up our heels.
That's right.
We'll be hanging out with
The Pelicans.
these amazing pelicans. It's nothing like anyone has ever seen, even though we have so many in our backyard. But they have a different personality than Sunset Key. So that's what we're going to be doing. So we won't be here next Saturday.
Okay. Is that down in the Keys itself or somewhere else?
Pardon me?
Is that Sunset Key in the Keys or
Yes.
somewhere else?
It's just off the coast of Key West.
And we have to take a ferry we go into Key West, but we have to take a ferry to Sunset Key. And it's a little island with these little cottages, and it's very quaint. There's a porch that we sit on, and we look at the pelicans, and there's rocking chairs, little wooden rocking chairs where we can sit. The kitchen is amazing.
Earl Stewart on Pelicans.
It's so tiny. It is just a very quaint place to be, especially with the schedule that we keep. So heads up, find something to do or listen to a rerun.
Yeah, no, excellent place to be for you guys to recharge your batteries while your car is being recharged at home in the garage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that's bad.
That's cute.
I do like
Okay.
down there where the key deer are. Bye. Have a good one. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to go to John. John's calling us from Palm City.
Hello, John.
Welcome, John.
Good morning.
Morning.
Happy New Year.
Happy
new
New
laws
Year,
are in
John.
effect.
To you and Irene.
Yes, thank you. New laws are in effect January 1st, and like everything else, we have to do our homework. An important law that's coming in is the interest on a car loan is totally deductible on your income tax. Now, very important to know the rule. When you read the MSRP, it's got parts from all over practically the world. This is engine from there and all. But the key to it is the car that you're using to deduct the interest must be assembled in the USA.
Oh.
That's very simple.
Yeah.
On your code, your 17-digit code, you have to see it starts off with a 1. Why a 1? A 1 is a USA assembled car, et cetera, et cetera. 2 is Canada, 3 is Mexico. I won't do the whole list. But you must have the serial number starting with a 1, which means that car was assembled fully in the United States, and then you will be able to get the deductible interest on your income tax. So I want to mention that, people, that they have to know that not a car that has a number on it, it doesn't qualify.
Good point. Thank you very much,
Yeah,
John.
that's great information, John. Thank you.
Everything today is code. It'll drive you crazy. I mean, I'll get into it very briefly. When you go buy a tire, there's codes on there. Rick could probably help you on the simplest one, is the date of the tire. But every tire that you buy has to be DOT rated. And I'll tell you, every symbol on that tire means something besides the size. Important things to know is the tread wear. Like a 220 number means that 220 versus a 110 tread wear will go twice as far, not the mileage, but just use. And you look for that. You look for the ABC rating. Heat, like an A is the best. For Florida, we need that, at least a B. And also, it rates the stopping distance and the spin speed. And I'll tell you, if you go to a tire dealer and you buy a tire, you don't understand, say to the salesman or the office, explain to me what some of these symbols mean, before I bought a tire. And if Rick wants, he could roughly go over the date code. You willing to do that, Rick?
Well, actually, the government used to have that in Chinese.
Isn't that the
And
truth?
then someone complained, and so they came up with this code. And nobody can understand Chinese, and they can't understand the code, but Rick can, so. Yeah.
Well, actually, the most important step to start with tires, Consumer Reports. Go to Consumer Reports and find what are the best tires recommended and start there. Now, the other thing that you want to do is on the DOT number, it'll be on both sides of the tire, but only on one side will you find 4 digits added on at the end that are impressed in a little bit. And you might see it say something along the lines of like 3525. And the way you calculate that is the 35 is the week and the 25 is the year. 35 means the 35th week of 2025.
I try to visualize the moron in the government. I mean, a person came up with that idea, and you can try to envision how his mind works to put that on the inside of the tire, and
well, they only put it on one side, so quite often when the tire's mounted on the car,
Yeah.
it might be on the where you can't see it on the inside. Yeah.
So I was kidding, but I wasn't kidding when it may as well be in Chinese.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody knows that code, and John from Palm City and you are the only two people that I know that knows the code.
Well, it's all these codes are done to confuse the consumer.
Right.
I mean, I'll give you, for instance, on the serial number, and the 17th digit, the 10th digit is the model year. But guess what? It's coded like a P is for 1993, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So they make nothing simple to confuse you to no end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have to do a lot of homework sometime just to get basics. So that's, but the important thing is, in the car that you're buying, in order to get the interest deductible, it has to start off with a 1. That's a USA assembled car.
I think maybe I'm too old, but I want to find somebody that would like to run for president of the United States, and my platform would be, not mine, but whoever, the platform would be, I'm going to make all communication from the government to the public readable by anyone with a high school education. Readable and understandable. I believe you could forget about economics, you could forget about interest rates, you could forget about invading Iran, you could forget about all this other stuff, and just promise that if you get me elected, all communication between the United States government and you, a citizen of the United States government, will be understandable to anyone with a high school education.
Earl's key to success. Make it simple. Make it simple.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Happy New
Thank
Year
you.
again.
Same to you.
Our number here is 877-960-9960, and you can also text us at 772-497-6530. Don't forget, take advantage of your anonymousfeedback.com. Ladies, $50, a $50 Amazon gift card. Give us a call. First 2 new callers. Rick?
One quick note from Donovan here. He says VINs that start with 4 and 5 can also be U.S. made. So just double check on those VIN numbers when you're looking at them.
Repeat that.
If the VIN number starts with a 4 or a 5, those can also be made in the U.S., assembled in the U.S., and that would count towards that interest deduction.
There you
so
have it from
the best
Rick.
way is double check with the specific manufacturer that you're making to find out where that car was assembled.
I just, again, my sarcasm button has been pressed, with the things that go on with the government. But you were talking about this deduction. Now, it's probably a really good deal for Dunham. It's probably a really good deal for John from Palm City. But it's only for people that file an itemized income tax return. Now, somebody asked ChatGPT, what percentage of drivers, people who buy cars, file itemized income tax returns? And that'll tell you how good a deal it really is. And I'm going to do that during the next break, or during the next pause.
Okay. We're going to stay with the phones.
Okay.
We're going to go to John, who's calling us from West Palm Beach. Good morning, John.
Yeah, good morning. As I sit here and wait and listen on the phone, I get more things come up. First, for Earl on his making things accessible to the public for a high schooler. Mm-hmm. I was surprised that he said that because that was one of my first jobs right out of college. I worked for the South Florida Water Management District, and I took all the reports, or actually the experiments and contracts that the universities and engineering companies did on the Lake Okeechobee to keep it from going in bloom. I had to go through those reports and put them into a language that the common taxpayer could understand.
Wow.
I mean, because they're very technical. So, it was you brought that memory up when you had said
Hey, John,
that.
did you drink heavily?
No, I don't.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine.
John, did you know a guy named Fred Schiller by any chance?
No,
Fred Schiller. No, he's a very good friend of mine. And back about that time, he worked for the Florida management, same outfit.
Yeah, I'm going all the way back to 1991.
Yeah.
When Lake Okeechobee was a real in danger of going into bloom and dying.
Yeah.
But anyways, the reason why I called is regarding the license plates. I'm going to put Donovan to work, as I usually do. Many years ago, there was something going around about new digital license plates for Florida, and you could sign up for them. And these were they had the battery in them, and they were digital. They lit up, and you could also customize your license plate a little bit, and that. But it never fell through. I haven't even thought to look it up. But I was just wondering if it was one of those scams like Area 51 where they were collecting emails, for database.
It probably was. I don't remember that.
It was just the digital license plates for Florida. But anyway, it was there. I signed up for one. I thought it'd be really cool.
Oh, you got it. Okay. Well,
no, I didn't get one. No, I didn't get one. I just signed up to get my digital license plate, and that's about it. As far as you guys are talking about the VIN numbers and that, the only numbers I know are the Pontiac engine numbers and that, and parts numbers for the engine. That way, when I was at swap shops and swap meets, I wasn't buying the wrong part.
Are you a old Pontiac guy?
Oh yeah, 70 GTO Judge.
Yeah,
we talked before about it.
My father started the first Pontiac dealership in West Palm Beach in 1937, and he was. I worked for him, back in the 60s and 70s, and of course, fortunately, I bought a Toyota dealership because we all know Pontiac has gone bye-bye.
Well, I visited your dealership. I don't remember if it was Toyota, but it was on Dixie Highway. I was going to school at Palm Beach Atlantic College, and you were down there.
Yeah.
And across the street was that Cadillac place that had the elevator that went up and down, took the cars up and down.
Yeah.
Boy, John, you're a youngster. I feel really old now.
Hey, a quick note on those digital license plates. So far, California is the only one that allows a digital license plate, and they're mostly being made by a company called Reviver, and they use like an electronic ink, so it's not like a TV display. It's more like a Kindle paper display, and some of the biggest concerns about them are the cost of it And also the idea that privacy concerns, because what happens if someone were able to hack that license plate and change your license number while you're driving without you knowing it, or if the driver could suddenly start changing their license plate. So, yeah, there's some real issues there. Myself, I'm going to go old-fashioned and say, just give me a simple metal license plate and I'm happy.
If I was a cook, I would definitely have a digital.
Oh, yeah. But, hey, you know.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have a great rest of the year and Happy New Year.
Thank you.
And we'll call you in 2 weeks. Well, actually, I was wondering if this could happen. You know, earlier you talked about passing on and what was going to happen in a radio show. You got to need to start grooming these guys that when you do pass, God forbid, Rick, this radio show still continues. It's a service to us.
There you go. There you go. Well, that'll happen. I mean, it is a family show, so you're absolutely correct.
We've talked about that, John.
All right, very good.
We thank you.
All right. See you later. Bye.
Happy New Year. We are going to go to Jupiter, where we have a very patient caller. Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning and welcome.
Yeah, what's your name?
Dick Hayes.
Rick?
Dick.
Very good.
Welcome, Rick. What can we do for you this morning?
Well, I wanted to call and wish y'all a Happy New Year, number one.
Wonderful.
And
Thank you.
thank you for the past decades of listening to you. I was listening to you before you got fired.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, I've been a long-time resident of Palm Beach County. Lived on the river for a while. I'm out here in Tailwinds Airport, just west of Jupiter, and north of Jupiter Farms.
Oh, yeah.
And I've talked to you before. Retired Pratt Whitney engineer. And one of the reasons that prompted me to call this morning was to reinforce Donovan and his choice of the best toy car for Frank.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that is the Porsche Boxster. I have one. I had Porsches for 40 years. But my primary car right now is a Cybertruck. I have to be Cybertruck like you.
Oh, yeah.
I'd also have a Model S. But my fun car is the Porsche Boxster. I have a yellow one with a dark blue interior. Lovely car. But when I hear a little noise or have a little fun, I get into Boxster. The rest of the time, I'm hooked on this truck, the Cybertruck. This wipes it away with self-driving and all that. So.
Oh, yeah. We got to. Did you get a lot of software updates just recently? I got 2 in 2 days in my Cybertruck.
Yeah, that's all the holiday updates. A lot of nice stuff, neat stuff added. They got jingle bells you can play and the lights and all that stuff. It's really fun. I have a girlfriend who he liked my loaned her my Model S for a while, and she liked it so much she went out and bought a new Model Y. So now we like 3 Porsches or 3 Teslas in the here.
Really?
Rick, I love talking to an old guy like me that appreciates new technology.
I'm even older than you. I'm 88.
Wow, you got me beat by 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Also engineer.
Yeah, it's just I'm a little fuzzy on driving myself now. I'm at that point. I can still drive okay, but I'm not as sharp as I was when I was 25 when I drove. Of course, when I was 25, I went 110 miles an hour, but that's another story. But I feel so comfortable with the autonomous now, and I want to ask you how you feel when I'm on full autonomous in my Cybertruck. I get in my garage, I put it on autonomous. I did that this morning with Nancy. Put it on Navigate. It backed out of my garage onto a street, which is very difficult to back out onto, I might add, and came all the way several miles to this location, the radio studio, and parked itself in front of the door where we go. To me, I relaxed. I felt good. We talked about the show on the way without having to worry about driving. Do you get that same feeling?
Unbelievable.
Do you like that? Do you feel good?
Oh, I love it. I use it daily, really.
Yeah.
And So does my girlfriend Julie. She uses hers daily, and
Yeah.
I just ran into Jupiter for a 6-mile trip, and it goes around traffic, backs out of the driveway, and does
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's, and I feel it's a better driver than I've been with it since 2018 when I bought the S. And I've watched it grow, the FSD, over the years. When it first came out, it scared you to death.
A little exciting, yeah. Right.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And from my perspective, the Teslas are still learning. There's some mistakes that they can make, but it doesn't happen as often as it once did when I started driving the Plaid. But it just tells you that you really should be aware, even if you're in self-driving. It's very important to be aware of the drivers around you and where your car is going. So I'm a little more nervous than
Well,
Earl
you got
is.
to remember on the FSD, you got to remember that it is the worst it will ever be. It's going to get better and better and better. 'cause it's
Absolutely,
learning all the
ours
time.
have
It's
definitely
learning from you.
gotten
Good way
better.
to look. It's a good way to look at it. Wow. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's the worst it'll ever be. It's going to get. It's just like AI. AI is the worst it's ever going to be. Have you tried out the Grok in your truck or car?
The what?
Grok. 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 It's
Grok.
like
Croc. Yeah, we
ChatGPT.
know we're not crazy about Croc. I really haven't focused on it, but Nancy's laughing because it isn't that I just don't like it. I get really angry at Croc, and because and it's my fault.
That's an
I can't-
understatement.
I can't figure out how to disconnect him. So
Oh, it's great.
yeah,
You-
Croc
you know,
will
you
start
get
talking
it.
to me.
When
you
Grok
get
doesn't
it.
stop talking, Earl gets out of the Cybertruck, jumps on the hood,
No,
and
no,
he
I don't.
jumps up and down and he
She's
screams.
exaggerated.
All you got to do is take that right hand button, just flick it, and it'll go off.
Right hand button.
We're too late.
I'll
It's too
remember
late
that.
for pressing any
Thank
I mean,
you.
buttons.
it works great. And you know you can pull into a town and say, show me the best 3 places to eat in town, and then give me a tour of the town.
Yeah.
She
Yeah,
will walk you through it and do that exactly that.
Yeah. Well, we've moved
You don't
on.
have to touch
I
the wheel.
ordered Earl a straitjacket, and we've moved on.
Okay. Well, I hope he gets better because you'll love it once you get into it. And,
I'm sure he
think-
will.
I think when the general populace has a chance to try full self-driving in Grok, there's no other car anybody wants.
No, that's right. And it's if you remember when you first tried the autonomous, that's why people don't do it. It's old habits. I don't think this generation will ever be comfortable with it, but younger people that haven't been driving that long, they will. You'll never be able to take it away from them. They'll say, "How did we live without autonomous cars?" But guys like you and me, you and I are 1 out of 100 that would accept it. Most of my friends laugh at me when I tell them about it.
But I still got the fun car. I go,
Oh,
I want to
God,
hear a
oh,
little back noise. I get the Boxster, and it's great. It's one of the best handling cars. I've driven a lot of cars over the 88 years, so.
I love it. You
the
have.
Porsche Boxster is the best handling car you can get. It's almost as fast as the S and the truck, but not. It's a second or two off on the
Exactly.
0 to 60.
Rick, what mode do you drive in?
Usually hurry.
Oh, okay. Do you
Mad
use
Max.
Mad Max?
Yeah, Go ahead.
We're in Mad Max.
We drive in Mad
Yeah.
Max.
Well, Mad Max gets a little crazy. Out on the turnpike. I look down there, and when you're out on 995, you look down, this thing's doing 88, 90 mile an hour.
Yeah.
Earl looks over at me
Oh.
because I'm driving, and he asks me if what mode I'm in, and I said, Mad Max.
Yeah, well, other than that, it works fine. It's very aggressive. It passes cars, and it does it just fine. This thing is, I've got almost 100,000 miles on
Really?
Teslas now between the two cars.
We'll have to
So I had a lot of experience. I would say I'm doing like 80-90% of my driving now on FSD.
Yeah.
I just use it because I don't want to be bothered with traffic, and it takes care of it.
Exactly. Rick,
And
thanks
it's
so much.
safer, it's safer than most of the car drivers on the road. It really is safer. I mean, when people find that out,
Yeah. Well,
now you can get
You made me feel better. I thought
Yeah.
I was the only old guy out there, and it's so good to find someone like you that thinks
I'm
like
going to
me.
drive this thing, 88, I ain't got too much longer, but I'm going to drive the hell out of it.
There you go. Yeah.
Call again next week, will you?
It was great talking to you.
Please do.
Take care.
Thank
Happy
you.
New Year.
Thank you.
Happy New Year. I feel more comfortable now driving, and I was very hesitant in self-driving. And ladies, if you're out there and you're looking for a new car, and it is the end of the year, so I might remind all of you, it is a good time, and Earl's going to elaborate on that later in the show, a good time to purchase a vehicle. But I want to tell you, at my age, driving can be, well, your body hurts, your knees hurt.
Parking is terrible, yeah.
It's just an amazing vehicle. And I have so many safety features. It's incredible. But I am cautious in spite of all that. So that's my spiel on the Tesla plan.
Yeah, let me talk about this special end of the year situation for you car buyers, or you intended car buyers, new car buyers. I talked about this briefly last week, and this is the number of cars sold in the United States in November, and I'll just read this list out to you from the highest volume down to the lower volumes. Toyota, 181,000, Ford, 156,000, Honda, 91,000, goes all the way down to Acura with 11,000. Now you say, okay, so what's that? Well, this is the official report that all auto manufacturers must put out every month, and it's required because they're public companies, they're stockholder owned, and they must report their sales. The stock market reacts, as you might expect, on these sales, because if you're buying Ford and selling Honda, or you want to buy Toyota, or you want to buy Mazda common stock on the Wall Street, you watch these numbers closely. These numbers of what you sold in the past 30 days are not announced at the end of 30 days. They're announced on someday after the 30 days. And the law will not allow the manufacturer to release this other than the date that they have assigned themselves to release this information. Now, I probably confused everybody, but the point of this is the last day of the month is the best time to buy a new car. The last day of the month on the last day of the year is a supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Nobody knows what I'm talking about. Really a good idea.
And not every Earl.
All the old people saw Mary Poppins. I don't know what.
Not
Anyway.
Everybody knows about the amount of bonuses that these car dealers are making. The manufacturers, the car salesmen.
Yeah, the manufacturer's bonus. The manufacturer's bonus is the stock price, and the dealer is getting huge bonuses from the manufacturer, because the manufacturer wants a high price, large number of cars being sold, and the dealer, because he's getting these huge bonuses on the last day of the year, he incentivizes his managers, and the managers, because it's a trickle down, the managers incentivize the salesperson. So when you walk in to a Toyota dealership, I'm looking for mine.
Everybody's in cahoots together is what we're trying to stress to all of you. And because it's such a great time to buy a vehicle at the end of the month, but do your homework.
Yeah, the first Monday after the end of the year, I think that's January the 2nd, is Toyota's date to report sales. So at my dealership, and all Toyota dealerships in the United States, you have to report your sales in by midnight on Monday, January 2nd. Now, the other manufacturers have different dates, and those are, let's see here. Okay, Kia, Subaru, Lexus, Mazda, and Acura are on the Friday at the end of the month.
Yeah, January the 5th.
January the 5th,
You were
okay.
talking about that Monday?
Yeah.
January the 5th.
5th, yeah. Anyway, so pardon me, I can't read my notes. Call the dealership if you can. It's not an easy number to find out, but if you have a friend at a dealership or somebody in the sales force, anybody in the sales department, new car sales department, knows when that particular make is the last day of the month. Now, that's not to say you can't go in today, because today is near the end of the month and the end of the year, and so is tomorrow and the next day. But if you miss January 31st or New Year's Day, there are still end of the months at other manufacturers and dealerships. So I'm talking a whopping savings, discounts that you cannot get the next year. I mean, if you're buying a 2026 Toyota or a 2026 Mazda, and you buy it today versus what you buy it on the end of the manufacturer's and the dealer's month, you're going to save a lot of money at the real end of the month. So
Yeah.
remember that, and hold off a little bit. If you're going to buy today, you might want to wait. You're not going to get a bad deal today if you negotiate right, but hold off a little bit till that manufacturer's month end.
Exactly. And let me tell you something, folks. No matter which way you slice it, they're hungry. Do your homework. That is mandatory. Check on that model. Check on the price, the incentives, the bonuses. There is so much to look into and to research. Buying a vehicle is like buying a home. This is an investment that you're making, and you just want to know that you're making the right decision before you even go in to the dealership. These incentives and financing, it is so important. I can't stress to you enough. We are going to go back to the phones, and we are going to talk to, I believe, John from West Palm Beach. John, are you out there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. I called again. Now I forgot why I called. The
Join the club.
Let's. You know what? I have to call back because I don't remember what you had touched on something, and it prompted me to call, and I don't know what it is now.
Happens to me all the time.
Yeah. All right. Very good. Yeah, it didn't come back to me.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Sorry, I accept full responsibility. I do that all the time. Nancy sometimes says to me, "Don't interrupt me." I said, "Listen, I've got to interrupt you, otherwise I'm going to forget what I wanted to ask you."
Oh, I remember what it is now.
Oh, great!
It's like in part of your update for the Teslas, you should have Grok. And what Grok has done now, you may have seen in some of the commercials, you can give it 4 or 5 destinations, and it will route your vehicle autonomously to the destinations with efficiency and time management. So it calculates all of it for you. So if you're going out for the day doing chores, it'll just tell Grok where you want to go in a single sentence, and it will route your day for you.
Fantastic. The whole day. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Well,
Let me tell you something, John. Very true what you said, definitely. But I have to admit, Earl has disassociated himself from Grok. He has had a bad experience, and it's going to take him a while, to put things in perspective, come back to Grok, and appreciate all of its talents, because it has a lot.
Yeah,
Well, You can experiment. Well, Grok is the one that's, of course, is going to be connected to the Teslas. But you might want to try ChatGPT, your chat bot, and see if it will do the same thing. Now, I don't know if you got CarPlay, you might be able to transfer it over.
That's a good idea. Good idea. So thank you very much for the call, and I'm sorry I talked so long.
Thanks for encouraging Earl. This whole situation is like a bad relationship, and he had, have you ever taken a child to Toys R Us and that child can't have that toy? I'll say no more. Thank you, John.
It's not that you talk too long. It's that I have a short memory.
Thank you for reassuring us.
Join the club, right?
Rick is rolling around laughing at us. And guess what? I'm going to supplement my income. I am going to put cameras in the house, and we are going to be on Candid Camera. Earl doesn't know. I just announced it. I'm going to surprise him.
Every time I hear someone say grok, it either sounds like one of the cartoon birds from the Flintstones, or it sounds like they drank a soda a little too quickly.
You know what I think of?
Grok.
Football. NFL.
Oh, okay, yeah. Grok. Sorry, folks.
Well, again, now that I got my mind back, if you're going to buy a Toyota anywhere in the United States, buy it soon. Buy it on January 2nd. Okay? That's the day.
5th. Isn't it?
Toyota is January 2nd.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And that's the only one I'm sure of. I think that Kia, Volkswagen, Honda, and Chrysler are on January 5th.
Okay. You and I talked, and we did mention January 2nd, but also January 4th. Yeah. So now we have January 5th.
There's huge bonus money for the salesman, the sales manager, the dealer, and the manufacturer. For you, this little old you, can walk into that dealership and just about write your own ticket. And I know this sounds like I'm exaggerating, but I know there have been cases where people on the last day of the month, at the end of the year, have probably paid less for the car than the car cost the dealer. Not a lot of times, but it has happened, because one car can mean hundreds of thousands of dollars in bonus money, plus or minus, to that dealership. And if they've got 600 cars for whatever period of time they're being measured, but they need 620 to get it out the door, and you come in a few hours before, they're going to sell you a car, even if they have to give it away. And
True.
I don't exaggerate. I'm just telling you, this crazy situation exists. Use it to your advantage.
The climate that we're living in, car payments alone, over $1,000. So if you can save, and you will, take advantage of Earl's information that he shared with you. I think that according to the clock, Iggy, we're ready for the mystery shopping report. And I want to take a minute and thank Iggy for his patience and working with me and making the sound system for me, because I wear hearing aids. Today it is, perfection has been achieved, and he's worked very hard on this whole situation that at times was very frustrating for him. So I want to thank you. Okay, we're going to go to the mystery shopping report, and as I always tell all of you that are listening, please vote. You are an important part of the show. 772-497-6530. That's where you can cast your vote on Teddy Morse Honda. No, it's Ed Morse. I was just teasing.
Yeah, the great grandson. Yeah.
Ed Morse Honda.
Great grandson. We didn't mention our Bible, and I'm going to mention that before I do the report, but the Consumer Reports is by far the most important document, magazine, book, call it what you will. It's online, of course. If you want to buy a new or used car, you got to get the Consumer Reports. And they're accurate. They accept no advertising. Nobody can buy them off. Car manufacturers haven't got enough money
to let everybody know we have our own, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
And so pick up a copy and go online and just please, and for that matter, no matter what you want to buy. I mean, Nancy and I don't buy a bottle of water, literally, without being sure it's approved by Consumer Reports. So anyway.
Aren't we looking for an alpaca
we are.
in the Consumer Report?
We were.
But I found out that we don't have a livestock license, so we can't buy one. Exactly. Rick, do you have a comment?
Nope.
We're going out with a bang.
Yeah.
Actually, I do. It's a little low, so you wouldn't be able to see it, but on the cover of the magazine Earl just had, down at the bottom, tires that last the longest.
Yeah.
And folks, Consumer Reports will help you, and you can even just get the digital copy online. It's not very expensive, but it'll help you in any major purchase, even down if you're just
even if you go to the library.
Well, like this one, it's popular supplements and supermarkets that save you the most, the best and worst mattresses, but that will save you a fortune, and then you've got more money just to go and play with.
Oh, thanks for mentioning one of my many subjects, and that is supplements, plural. I'm a fanatic. Pick up the Consumer Report. It will do you well. It will save you money. Okay,
I'm not reading the mystery shopping report, but I got to talk to the manufacturers and dealers one more time. I mean, you guys are just a bunch of chickens out there.
Yeah, they better.
Listen. What do you got against $1,000 to your favorite charity? Why won't someone in management from a car dealership or from an auto manufacturer call this show and get $1,000 for your favorite charity?
You can remain anonymous.
That tells you what type of guy you are, right? If whether I even knew who I was, or whether I hated me or I loved me, or if I didn't know me, and I knew if I called 877-960-9960, I could get $1,000 for the American Cancer Association, or for the Red Cross. I do it. Car dealers, managers, automobile manufacturer managers, call 877-960-9960, and I'm going to give you $1,000. You can be your favorite charity, and I will not reveal your identity on the air. So if you're afraid your boss is going to hear you calling Earl Stewart on Cars, ain't going to happen. I promise you. So anyway.
AintGonnaHappen.com. So pick yourself up by your bootstraps and get to that phone.
Mystery shopping report.
Okay.
Ed Morris Honda, and they're in South Florida. They're in Palm Beach County, and they're just off I-95 and Blue Heron Boulevard for you local people. Ed Morris Honda. And I'm speaking in the first person as if I were Agent Lightning, our crack undercover agent that just absolutely does a magnificent job of getting in the door and getting the answers and exposing the good, the bad, and the ugly. So here we go. I'm speaking as if I were Agent Lightning. I arrived late afternoon, walked around the lot, and then headed inside. When no one came out, a little unusual, there were two ladies sitting at a desk, and one of them turned to me and asked if I was looking for anyone in particular. No, I replied. I just want to see about getting a new Honda Accord. That white one right over there, I said, pointing to a new 2025 SE model with an MSRP of $32,210. Now, just a little aside here, I said new 2025. Let me tell you, folks, 2025, for all practical purposes, is not a new car. It might have a Monroney label, it might not have no miles on it, and it might be on the showroom floor, but this is the end of 2025, and the 2026 are probably out in almost every make in the world. So you're buying a used car for all intents and purposes if you buy a quote-unquote new 2025. Okay, back to the mystery shopping report. She asked me to follow her to her desk, but didn't introduce herself, and that's not good. We sat down, and she asked for my phone number. She wrote it down on a piece of scratch paper, then typed it into her computer and asked if my name was redacted, REDACTED, when she saw it, still without introducing herself.
That just means that Stu wanted to cover up Agent Lightning's name when the lady asked the question.
Oh, thank you. I had no idea what that meant.
When Stu wrote up the report,
Yeah, right.
and she said, "Is your name such and such?" Agent Lightning's name had to be kind of
I
blocked out
thought
there.
she really said redacted, okay? Yeah.
Thanks for catching that.
Stu, next time you do that, let me know, will you?
Yeah, Rick had to announce it on the air.
I had a great conspiracy theory as to why that happened. I thought that they'd identified her as a shopper, and they had redacted the name, and they were looking for her when she came in. And I don't know. I have a way of.
And it was clear they were going to
yeah, right.
eliminate her.
Okay, back on the. Thank you, Rick. Back on the mystery shopping report. She then asked me if that was the car I'd like more information on. Yes, please, I said. Likely finance or pay cash. Depends on the rates, I replied. She excused herself and was gone for about 5 minutes. She returned with David, introduced us, and then asked me to follow him as if he was going to run some numbers with me. I followed him to his desk, and he asked me for my phone number. I then asked if he was in finance. No, he said, I'm a sales associate. I'm a little confused, I said. Heidi already took my info. I guess she got the name after that. And that's what she said she was doing. He apologized for the confusion. That is definitely confusing. And said he would make it quick and painless. He took my number, confirmed my info in the system was correct, and then asked how many miles I drive a year for the lease. I told her I wasn't really interested in leasing. Now remember that. I'm not interested in leasing since I drive so much, I said. But she suggested I have numbers run for both, and I agreed. David agreed, wrote down 15,000 miles a year, and said he'd be right back with some numbers. And just as an FYI, that's a typical amount of miles that are allowed on a lease. And most of us drive more than 15,000 miles a year. And the typical charge can be 10 cents, 12 cents, or I've even seen it higher per mile. And you put a pencil to that, or a calculator, and let me tell you, if you go over a few thousand miles, you're talking about big money. And if you're leasing a car and you don't know what the lease contract says in terms of mileage allowed, you are being taken advantage of. Okay. 15,000 miles on a lease if I leased. David agreed. Okay, he wrote down 15,000. Said he'd be back with some numbers. I returned about 7 minutes later with a worksheet. It showed a $2,900 discount off MSRP before adding $1,977 for the Ed Morris Advantage Pack and another $1,296 in junk fees back into the price. 1977, that's a South Florida junk fee, folks. And believe it or not, they're higher than that. So South Florida, almost $2,000 in junk. He asked what vehicles I currently own, since I may also qualify for the Conquest discount. That's manufacturers typically do this to be competitive. Toyota competes heavily with Honda and vice versa. And so if Toyota can steal a sale from Honda, they love doing it, and vice versa. So all the dealers do that, and they call that a conquest bonus. I said, I have a Toyota. He said, perfect, that'll do it. He wrote on the sheet and asked how soon I plan on buying, either today or over the weekend. I said, it depends on how good of a deal it is. Now, remember my former conversation about end of the month. I can guarantee you that today or yesterday, I think when the shopping report was done, you're not getting the best price. But you will on a Toyota on Friday. Yeah, Friday. The end of the year. He went on to say that all their cars are backed by a lifetime powertrain. Regular listeners know that is worth $0. And they also give all customers all-weather mats, free car washes, splash guards, window tint, and I like this. Agent Laddie says, I interrupted him. You aren't really giving me that, I said. I'm paying $1,977 for it. David smirked. Oh, God. They all said it with the discounts, though, he said. Okay, that's a terrible excuse. I asked if it could be taken off. He said no. The most we can do is discount the car, but it stays on all vehicles purchased here. So he didn't even apologize for the lie. Let's call a spade, that they were giving her all of these things that were on the car, and they were charging her for it. He was gone again for another 5 minutes. He returned saying the first manager was busy. She was waiting for Chris, another manager, to get me the best deal available. I waited for 3 minutes. Chris came over with another worksheet. This time the discount was $4,965. The same junk was added back, but my bottom line was about $2,000 better. I asked if this was the best price. Yes, he said. I thanked them both and left. By the way, the window sticker was laminated and lying on the dash, with remnants of the original sticker still on the window. So there you have it.
Wow.
Our mystery shopping report. Ed Morse Honda in South Florida. They're in actually Riviera Beach, near North Palm Beach, just off of I-95. Been there a long time. Ed Morse has got a bunch of dealerships now. His grandson, Teddy Morse, you've probably seen his commercials. He says, he used to say, I got your back. And then he changed that. I like to think because I teased him about stabbing you in the back. And I think he changed that to, I forgot what his slogan is now. Anyway, vote A, B, C, D, or F. We vote on the curve. ChatGPT has already analyzed the report. ChatGPT heard the same report, just the way you heard it, and he voted. And I'll tell you that vote later after you let us have your vote.
I think I'll lead the pack on this last show that we're doing, and I'll be kind. But I call this person who's trying to sell this car a crook, a con artist, a hustler, a scammer, otherwise known as, a snake oil
Well, say what you really mean. Don't hold back.
Salesman. I was very nice. I gave them a FFFFF.
Boy, a triple F. Wow.
Well, I pulled up Ed Morse's slogans they've had, and they had, going way back, Ed Morse is going to save you. They had, for value and for service, it's Ed Morse. Then it was Ed Morse has your back.
I remember that.
And then you're always backed by Morse. So, yeah, they had those.
Ed Morse, I know I'm digressing here, but I got to tell my old stories.
You're talking about Teddy?
No,
Yeah.
when I first got into the business, Ed Morris Sr. Had the dealerships, and then the son, and now Teddy. So Ed Morris Sr. and I were on the Florida Automobile Dealer Association together, and that's in Tallahassee, which is almost, if you're from Florida, to get from South Florida to Tallahassee, I think they only have one plane about every 3 weeks. I'm exaggerating slightly, but very difficult to get to Tallahassee. So Ed Morris called me, and we had a directors meeting in Tallahassee. So he called me and said, "Hey, Earl," says, "how'd you like to fly up with me on my plane?" And I was just a new dealer, and he's got a private airplane. Oh, wow. He says, "I'll see you at the airport, private airport in Delray." So I drove down there, got in Ed Morris's nice plane, and there was 2 or 3 other dealers on there. We flew to Tallahassee, had our meeting, and then the next day we flew back, and I mean, I'm really feeling important. I'm a young kid, just starting the business. I got on Ed Morris's plane, and about a week later, I'm opening my mail, and I got something from Ed Morris. It was a bill for $2,500. I swear to God, that's the truth.
It doesn't matter how many times Earl mentions this story. It just makes you shake your head, and like Rick's doing, laughing. It's a true story.
So I had to restrain myself, and I told my father, and my brother, and I said, "What do I do?" I said, "Well, you didn't ask him if he was going to charge you, so he might be an SOB, but you better pay him."
Yeah.
So I wrote him out a check, mailed it to Ed Morris, and today Teddy's running things. Ready, Teddy? Yeah, okay.
Okay, let's get some grades in here. I've got, sorry, folks, let me get this together. All right. I've got Tom Steckel says, D-, not attentive to the customer needs. Last year's model, junk fees and add-ons exceed the discount. Unfortunately, there are no non-fee Honda dealers in the state. So a D- from Tom. Tim Gilliland says, no big deals today, C. Joseph Kelleher, C-. The $2,000 in junk fees lowered the grade. Johnny Z. Fradley says, ... is Ed Morse code for a grade of D. Brian Sidlatko says a C. And over here we've got Jonathan in Palm Coast says, first of all, I hope you all had a Merry Christmas, and I hope you have a happy, healthy, prosperous New Year.
Thank you.
Now on to the grading. I'll give Ed Morse Honda a D, thanks to $2,000 worth of junk fees and worthless perks. Not a great deal for a possible year-end sale. Bob in Maryland says, I did this on another Ed Morse shop, mystery shop, and once again, it's an F in Morse code, ... Agent Lightning wasn't interested in leasing junk fees and asking more than once for her information and the baloney about freebies. Here we have Frank in Jupiter Farm says, still in the Christmas mood, so it's a D+. And here we have Roadrunner Steve, meep, meep. Ed Morse, use SOS, D- from Roadrunner Steve. Let's see, here we have also Mark H says, smirk, 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 D. And that looks like all of them right now. My own, Heidi being rude, not introducing herself. David just kind of, he was just condescending it though. Like, I say a D across the board on him.
Yeah. I think this is going to be a kind of a common grade because ChatGPT also gave him a D+. He basically said borderline F for a modern retail operation, and that's about as tough as ChatGPT could get. So I have to say that it was one of the worst reports I've seen. By the way, as I got a couple of minutes because of old stories, this is what I've told on the air before, but Teddy Morse, the current owner of the Ed Morse Empire, Ted Morse, who's latest motto, Rick, is that I've got your back. Oh, Morse has got your back.
Yep.
Morse has got your back. Years ago, his father, Ed Morse Jr., no, Teddy's the great-grandson, yeah. He's not the grandson. He's the great-grandson. No, he is grandson, yeah. Anyway, Ed Morse Jr. Sued me because I had said that his talk about his dealer fee, and don't talk about my dealer fee. Ed Morse had said in a commercial that I have a dealer fee, and I hide my dealer fee in the price of the car. Of course, which is silly because what I have in the price of my car are any cost, anything I want. The point is, I give my price of the car to the customer to shop and compare. And anyway, he sued me. I countersued him. So Ed Morse and I have a history of going way back. And if Teddy's listening, you got a D+ on your Toyota dealership in Delray, Florida.
Did you know that he also owns, or the Ed Morse Auto Group also owns Harley Davidson of Daytona, which is the largest Harley dealership, but they own 6 locations of Harley dealerships throughout the U.S.
He did a commercial with his black leather jacket on and motorcycle boots.
Yeah. So yeah, they're quite successful.
Yeah, Teddy likes motorcycles,
but maybe they need to work on their attitude towards the customers a bit.
Hey, Teddy, $1,000 to your favorite charity if you'll call the show. You got my back, right?
Yeah.
You got my back? Call the show. $1,000 to your favorite charity.
Your back is covered by Morse.
How did ChatGPT rate the Mystery Shopping Report?
A D+. A D+, and he said borderline F for a modern retail operation. So there we got it. We're almost out of time.
He's become educated during this, I'm going to say, past year. In the beginning, he was very frivolous. He didn't vote like he should.
Yeah.
But now he puts more thought into it.
He has. Yeah. Speaking of ChatGPT, yeah, we thought he went crazy before because he was given Bs. And,
yeah, he was just throwing the best grades out there.
He now sees every report, so he's learning, and that's a good thing about ChatGPT.
Learning, yeah, just like you re-educate your computer at home. Iggy, how much time do we have? 5 minutes.
Okay. Well,
are you going to thank your buddy, Coach GBT, for the past year? Wish him a happy New Year.
Oh, absolutely. I'll do that.
For how he has shaped your thoughts, your conversation.
Yeah. I'll go back to something very interesting. If I have time, I'll mention this in Consumer Reports. This shows you how, fair they can be. They don't care whether you're Toyota or General Motors or Subaru. They don't care who you are. They don't even buy the cars they test in any special manner. They buy them from a dealer, and they pay whatever the dealer charges. And they don't tell them they're from Consumer Reports, so they probably pay sticker or more. So they buy it, and that way there's no beholding to any dealer or manufacturer. But on the back page of the current January-February issue of Consumer Report, they compare mid-size SUVs, and they rank the better deal. They compared a Lexus RX Hybrid with a Toyota Crown Signia. Now, of course, Toyota builds both cars. And the Lexus Hybrid sells for $52,000 to $62,000, and the Toyota Signia sells for $44,000 to $48,000. Guess who Consumer Report says it's a better car?
Which one?
The Toyota.
Huh.
Now, I'm not saying that because I'm a Toyota dealer. I'm saying that that's a pretty radical thing for anyone to say. Right away, the Lexus owners and the manufacturer hates you, and the Toyota dealers love you. And I'm a Toyota dealer, and I've always loved you. Even if you'd have said the Lexus, I'd have still loved you, Consumer Reports. But here it is, a luxury car that sells for about $10,000 less, is said to be less of a buy as a good car than a Toyota. A Lexus, in this particular case, is a better buy than a new Toyota. Of course, we all know that people buy Lexus for another reason, because it's parked in your driveway, and your neighbors say, "Ooh, Mr. Jones just bought a Lexus. He must be a wealthy guy."
Yeah, exactly.
Well, bear in mind also, though, and I got to say this in all honesty, Lexus usually is a step up in the fit and finish and the quality feel of their cars, to my opinion.
And here's proof in the pudding with Consumer Report. They're not looking out for themselves. They are not true to themselves. They are true to the consumer. Keep that in mind. If you can subscribe, pick one up. Anyway, go to the library. It's your best bet. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you here at Earl on Cars for celebrating this day with us and the whole year that you've been part of the show. You are an important part of this show. We all here wish you a very happy and safe New Year. We will be back after the first of the year. Not sure of the date. I'm not even sure who I am right now. So have a fabulous weekend.
HD3.
Great show.
Yeah.
4.7 HD3 Palm Beach Shores and heard in Boca Raton on 95.3 FM, West Palm Beach on 95.